Revenge spending. It's defined as the release of pent-up shopping demand once people aren't forced to stay home. It's the new buzz term among upscale retailers. For example, Tiffany's recently reported sales increases of 90% in China in May as that market reopened. An innovative breed of long successful luxury retailers are reinventing the buying experience, and they're using the latest technology from Silicon Valley to do it. In this edition of Fintech Friday, Recoding Luxury Retail. I'm Silvio Tavares here in San Francisco on July 10th, and this is Fintech Friday, brought to you by CardLinx. It's great to be with you. This week, Brooks Brothers, founded in 1818 and one of America's most well-known upscale retailers, filed for bankruptcy. And if one listened to the news cycle, one might be tempted to believe that all luxury retail is in big trouble. But the reality is, that's not true. There are two kinds of luxury retailers: those that have used technology to adapt and thrive in the new reality, and those that have not. Many of the world's luxury retailers are doing just fine, and in the process, reinventing themselves using the latest technology. For example, LVMH Group, the largest luxury group in the world that owns brands including Louis Vuitton, Bulgari, and Christian Dior. Well, they anticipated the growth of e-commerce, and they launched their own e-commerce business called 24S or 24/7. And that business has been growing rapidly right through the pandemic. And today, we speak with Harvey Nichols of the United Kingdom, founded in 1831. Its flagship store in Knightsbridge, London, and its brand have long been synonymous with achievable luxury. What's fascinating about the company is that behind the ornate facade of its famous and long-standing London storefront, the company is using the latest technology from Silicon Valley to grow and prosper. E-commerce and CardLinx technology, or CLO, are two of the winning ingredients for Harvey Nichols' success. By leveraging these technologies, the company is driving a massive growth in its online business, not just in the UK, but around the world, where it can sell goods to the middle class in markets such as North America, Asia, and Middle East. On the show today, we speak with Carolina Paradas Mandato. She's the Global Affiliate Marketing Manager for Harvey Nichols. In our interview, we discuss how the best luxury retailers have adopted the best technology to survive and prosper in a rapidly changing consumer landscape. Good morning, Carolina. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing great. Now, one of the things I've always loved about Harvey Nichols and your flagship location in Knightsbridge is whenever I'm there in London and I go there to get a bite to eat or get some shopping done, I hear languages being spoken from really all over the world. And it makes total sense that people from all over the world come to the UK for tourism and go to Harvey Nichols to shop. But increasingly, as you point out, you're attracting other customers to your e-commerce platform. How did you end up using CardLinx offers to attract customers in markets outside the UK to your e-commerce website?
There's three key things, right? So I think the first one would be the data and the analysis that we get on the customer. So with our card linking program, we can really analyze our customer and see what they're looking for, what they, interested in. So that's really allowed us to get to know our international customer. And then secondly, of course, the cost and the risk-free association with CLO program as well. So, of course, you just pay on acquisition. So, to deep dive into those markets that we hadn't done before, it was, again, a no-brainer for us to kind of incorporate the system and really reach out to those customers interested. And I think the last thing would be, I think it's key for us as a retailer, specifically for luxury, to reach out to customers in the way they used to not be so intrusive. And I think CLO has really allowed us to do that. So whenever we pop up with a message or with an incentive or anything like that, we're doing it within their own comfort. So for example, if we're using a financial institution, we are coming up in their financial app that they're used to seeing all the time, and they already know how it works, etc. So, we are really adapting to the customer rather than the other way around.
Fascinating. Let's double click on that around the interaction with the consumers. You pointed out that, the typical Harvey Nichols consumer is actually an upscale consumer. How do they react to receiving an offer maybe in their high-end credit card mobile app or in their high-end credit card online banking app? How is the affluent consumer reacting to that? Are they taking to it well?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think, seeing the results and the growth that we've seen specifically internationally the past 2 years, I think they definitely react well to it. Like I was saying, it's very easy, it's not intrusive. We're reaching out to them in the way they're used to seeing things. But also, these customers are price savvy. These customers are very much interested on receiving something back. So I think that there's a bit of a enigma or something like that, the luxury customer doesn't really want to receive a reward, or the luxury customer doesn't need an incentive, but actually they do. They want to feel appreciated by the brand, and they want that extra special experience with us. So, the reaction to it has actually been fantastic.
Excellent to hear. Everybody loves a deal, whether you're upscale or not.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, great insight. Let's talk about that because, the economy, whether it be in Europe, North America, Asia, or Latin America, Africa, really everywhere in the world, there's been a deceleration in economic growth over the last several months and weeks. How are your consumers reacting to that? Does CLO work well in a market like we have now, where consumers, because of the slowdown in the economy, seem to be much more price sensitive than they used to be?
Yeah, so I think that's an interesting point. I think the beauty about CLO that it can really adapt to whatever kind of stage you're in a business or whatever the retail environment is, because you can really target and you can really personalize offers. I think it really can adapt to everything. In terms of how the consumers are responding, I think now more than ever, they would appreciate, an extra percentage back from their order or an extra experience. They're really going to appreciate that given the circumstances. I think, in general, CardLinx can really adapt to the situation we live in today.
And Carolina, as you look out over the next 6 to 12 months, it's very clear that we've just gone through a period where there's been enormous change in how merchants like Harvey Nicks sell to their customers. But it's also clear that there will continue to be change over the next 6 to 12 months. What do you see as the biggest change for retailers, particularly luxury retailers like Harvey Nichols, in the next 6 to 12 months?
I think in my personal opinion, I think the biggest change that we're going to see is changes in e-commerce, whether this is within your team or whether this is within your systems. E-commerce and online and, specifically e-commerce websites have really shown the value of them. I think any business should be able to talk to their customer, via any platform. So I think this is really going to make retailers reevaluate the value and how they approach the online world as well. For example, Harvey Nichols, we've been around since 1831, so we keep changing and we keep the evolution going. But I think this is definitely going to make sure that retailers apply that, innovative touch to their ways of talking to the customer.
So e-commerce is the biggest change, and that's going to become an increasingly part of every retailer's experience, but specifically also upscale luxury retailers. And drilling down on that a little bit, do you see that the physical bricks and mortar aspect, will that change as e-commerce gains in prominence? I think about the experience of walking into a Harvey Nichols store, and it's special and magical. You feel excited when you walk into one of your retail locations. But do you think that experience will change somewhat because consumers increasingly are doing more of their business with you online and not in the store?
So I think the experience as such won't change. I think it would actually make it a lot more special. Half of the world has been in lockdown for God knows how long. I think when they actually go back into stores, it's just such a great feeling to reconnect and to go and visit your favorite places. However, there is one thing that this has brought on, and I think the accessibility and how easy it actually is to shop online and, to try things on at home, that kind of stuff. So I think what is really going to happen is that the consumer is going to focus on the omni-channel experience. So go to a store when they need to, where they want to feel extra special, really experience the brand, talk to customer service, an appointment with a stylist. But then when they're looking for accessibility and kind of like a more of an easy process, they would also shop online and still receive that special treatment, just not face to face. So I think they will focus on both things, but for different purposes.
Really great insight. Carolina, thank you so much for sharing all of your knowledge, and great to be speaking to you today in London.
Amazing. No, thank you for having me.
That's Carolina Paradas from Harvey Nicks, one of the eponymous and most well-known UK retailers, Harvey Nichols. Thank you. Coming right up, some closing thoughts on luxury retail. As we've heard on today's podcast, luxury retail is here to stay. And it's not an accident or historical anomaly. Harvey Nichols has had to be innovative to stay in business for nearly 200 years. The same goes for Louis Vuitton, that's been around for over 160 years. It's easy to forget, but these companies had to innovate through several world wars, global pandemics, and many more natural disasters. So stepping back and looking at the long arc of history, it's not surprising that these companies are confronting the latest challenges with a tried and true tactic. Use technology to innovate and prosper. And that, my friends, is something we can all learn from. For Fintech Friday from the CardLinx Association, take care of yourself and take care of each other. God bless you. This is Silvio Tavares signing off.